So we're going to take a look at Keynote on Apple Mac today. Keynote will do a few things. I'm going to show you how to navigate around Keynote so that you understand how it works and how to manage it, how to make it work for you, and do a few things with it so you understand the navigation. We'll take a look at making a few slides, just some simple slides with a few shapes and photos and a few things like that. We'll talk a little bit about the Apple app integration and some of the things that make it really useful. If you have a Mac and an iPhone and an iPad, it really has some nice features that might be usable. And if we have a chance, we'll take a look at some animations and transitions because Keynote really has some good, powerful tools for making those, and they're relatively easy to use in a presentation if you want to. So some basics about Keynote. Basically, it's a free tool from Apple. It doesn't cost anything. It comes with your Mac, it comes with an iPad, it comes with an iPhone. It's a free tool from Apple. So it's included with your system when you buy it. It saves files in iCloud by default. If you don't do anything different, there is a Keynote folder that is already set up for you in iCloud, and it will save your Keynote presentations in that Keynote folder so that they are synchronized between your devices if you ever want to get to them from any other device. It exports to PowerPoint and PDF and a few other formats. You can actually make a movie or a set of images from a Keynote presentation. So it's easy to export to PowerPoint and use it as a PowerPoint tool if you want to, if you prefer doing it. And there is some connection to Apple Intelligence for editing text if you use it for text. And there is an integration also with Apple's image creation tool that you can use it within Keynote, and I'll have a chance to show you that. Some highlights. It's really, really well integrated with other Apple apps and devices. Some nice things that can be done with it that I'll hopefully be able to show you today. It's got a lot of media options. You can put video, you can put audio, you can put web videos in it. It's just really, really extensive for media, which is one area where Apple excels. It's got some great tools for shape and text manipulation that are some interesting tools that you can utilize it for. If you like to draw shapes, if you like to manipulate text, you can animate objects on it. We'll have a chance, I hope, to take a look at some animation tools because they're really nice within Keynote. And it has some transitions between slides. So even if you're using it for something just simple, say showing a photo library, and you want to do transitions between slides and make it into a slideshow, you can do that. And it does support collaboration. Collaboration meaning that you can share a Keynote presentation with other people, and they don't have to have a Mac. If they have an Apple account, they can collaborate through iCloud.com, but it does give you the ability to share a presentation, have people add to it, edit it, and modify it if you ever in a situation like that where you want to collaborate on a presentation with somebody like that. So what I'm going to do now is take a look at my screen sharing here. So now you can see my desktop. I'm going to move my mouse down to my dock, and I have a bunch of apps in my dock. This is the Keynote application right here. So if I want to start Keynote, I can just click on this icon here, and it'll bring up iCloud Drive in Finder automatically. Now you can see there is a Keynote folder that exists here. I can open an existing Keynote presentation by going to iCloud Drive, or I can start what's called a new document by clicking on the new document button down here. Now what happens is you get a big screen and you get the Keynote menu at the top. So all of these functions are for Keynote settings that you can use with Keynote. We'll take a look at them. Many of them are incorporated into the window when you use them, but Keynote has a set of themes that you can start with. And it shows you recent themes that you may have worked with, but it also has them organized by basic, what they call dynamic, and dynamic actually has an animated background to it, minimal, bold, editorial, portfolio, craft, textured, and you can save your own themes if you want to. I've saved some there. You can also look at them on the left here, navigation, by going through and looking at them and trying them out if you're interested. I prefer to start with just a basic white presentation. So we're going to double click this, or you can click on the create button in the lower right-hand corner, and it'll start a presentation. Now, our navigation's changed a little bit because we're actually working with a presentation. So we can see the view here. The view will show what to show and hide on the left-hand view here if I want to. You can just show the navigator or the slide. You can show what's called a light table, which actually shows all your slides in a presentation. We only have one so that we don't have it. We can change our layouts. We can show objects. I'll show you what that means when we set up objects. You can show find and replace, rulers, comments, and presenter notes. So navigation is going to be the standard one. It'll show your zoom level. You have a button for adding a slide to a presentation. You can play your presentation in a window, or you can play it full screen. And you have some information here. You can insert a table, a chart, text, shape, media, comments, and there's on the right-hand side a format screen that gives you the ability to change the format of anything you're working with if you want to. And there's a format for the slide, a tool for animation, and something you can apply to the entire presentation. So what we're going to do is just start off very simple. We're going to create a simple presentation, and we're going to say something like Bob's Travels, okay? And that's all I want to do. I'm using a cursor here, so I can just type in, the font's already selected. I don't really need to have an author and a date. When you click on an object, these are called objects because they are areas that you can control. So if I click on the bottom, you'll see I get some handles here. If I click on this presentation subtitle, I get handles. If I want to edit this, I can just click inside of it and I can say trips I've taken recently. I don't care about an author and a date, so I'm going to select that. I'm just going to hit the delete key on my keyboard and that will delete it. So that's slide number one. Now I want to insert another slide. I will go up to the add slide button here and I get a variety of layouts here. I can choose another title. I can choose a title and a photo that gives me the ability to put a photo in the background. I can put a title and bullets, just bullets, room for a video, room for a photo, room for a photo. So it has placeholders that exist for various types of slides you might want to create. So title and bullets is pretty commonly used. So I'm going to say some places I've traveled, and I don't care about the subtitle. I'm going to click on that and delete it. If I click on here, the slide bullet, I'll say, okay, we'll talk about Colombia. We'll talk about Oregon, and maybe we'll talk about Seal Beach. That's where I'm at. And just some interesting ideas here that we can use to format it. So the fonts and the type style are all managed by the theme that you're using. Now, if I ever want to go back to this title slide here, I can go back to it, select the text, I can edit it. If I'd like to change the style, I can. I can change the style of text. I can change the text fonts here, and I can arrange objects. We're going to take a look at that in just a minute. But this is a simple text slide, nothing fancy. If I want to add a photo to this, I can go up to the media button here and click on media, and it will give me the ability to use my photos and videos. I can use the image playground, which is Apple's AI. I can insert music. I can create an image gallery, which will rotate images. I can select a web video. I can record audio. I can actually record a live video if I want to. I also have some options here to take a photo with my phone, add scan documents, add a sketch, or from my iPad Air, I can take a photo, scan documents, and add sketch. We're going to take a look at those in a minute. I just want to add a photo. So if I click on photos or videos, one of the great things about Apple's tools is that it really is integrated with all the other things you might have looked at in the photo here. So here's a photo I'm going to take. I'm going to use this one, and I inserted it, and I now can click outside of this and close this, but I have the ability to adjust the size of the image. It's a little too big. So if I move up to the corners, I'll see my arrow change from a standard cursor arrow to a arrow that gives me the ability to adjust the size. If I go to the side here, I can actually just make the picture narrower or wider, but I don't want to change it. I don't want to distort it. I just want to make it smaller. And so if I drag this down by clicking on it, holding with my mouse, I can put this picture in another place here if I want to. Well, that's not bad. I can change the what's called the image style here. If I want to give it a little effect, I can put a border around it. I can change or give it a drop shadow. So these image styles give you the ability to give it a little bit of a more effect if you want to. And you can just go with none if you don't want any. And so I can create a border around it if I choose to. There's a picture frame border. I can change it to a line border if I want to and modify it. This format pane gives you the ability to adjust things, and I can just click on this and drag it around and move it around the screen just by clicking and dragging. So that's one of the advantages of a tool like Keynote is it does give you a lot of ability to move things around and do things. If I go to image here, it tells me where the image is from. And I do have some ability to do some things like I could try and remove a background. I can enhance it a little bit and change a few things about it if I wanted to. So that's one thing you can do with a slide is just put some text in and put an image. Okay, so let's go and create another slide. We will click Add New Slide, and I'm going to go with a blank one here. I'm going to insert a shape. If I click on the shape icon at the top, it will show me a wide variety of shapes. I can scroll all the way down through this, or I can use the left navigation here and change it from objects. They have quite a few objects here that I can adjust and use for different purposes. So I'm going to take some animals here, and I'm going to put a horse in here. Again, it's an object that's inserted. I can adjust the size, and I can move it to a particular location. And I'd like to change the color of that horse. So by going to the right here, I can click on the color fill, and I can select this color option here. And I'm going to try and make this a different color horse if I can. Let's see if I can pick something. Let's go with purple. That's not a really common one. And I have all these other color options available as well if I want to. Okay, so I have a tremendous amount of color options. I'm going to put another shape in here. Let's put in a chicken or a rooster here, and we'll do this. And I'm going to change this to a blue one just by clicking on the color here. Now, I've got two objects here, okay, and I can click on them, resize them, position them any way I want to. I'm going to create a new slide, another blank one. I'm going to put some shapes in here for some different animals. Let's see if I can find some animals like a dinosaur. I'll take a dinosaur here and I'll put a dinosaur over on this side and I'll go green Okay, and I'm going to take another shape here and I will find another dinosaur and I'll put it over here and I'll try and find a brown here or something like that. Okay, there we go. We'll do something a little bit like this. Okay, so now I've got two objects here on my slide, and I've got another slide here. So reason I did these with objects is that I wanted to show you one of the effects you can do with Keynote, and you can do this with some other tools as well. So I have two slides here, and I want to do something called animate these, and I want to add an effect. I want to add an effect called magic move. And the reason I'm going to do that is it's going to be a little bit different. So what I'm going to change here is I have to add this slide here, and I have to put these and duplicate it and create another copy of that. I can copy and paste this here and put these items here if I want to. And I can take this and take this item here, use my Control C and paste it here if I want to as well. So now I have two slides that I'm going to use. I'm going to add an effect here. I'm going to call it Magic Move. Okay, Magic Move animates objects from this slide to their positions on the next slide. And the two slides have to have at least one object in common. I've got the horse and the chicken. Okay, that's why I did that. So what it does is it actually animates the slide transition when you move from one slide to another, and you can actually move this slide if you want to. I'm going to play it in the window here. If I advance the slide, you can see how it actually animates these objects for me and gives me the ability to actually change how they might appear and work on it. So that's one of the things you can do with transitions and animations. This action button here on the format has a tremendous amount of resources here. So you can choose all kinds of effects if you want to. You can change it to a blink if you want to. You can change it to a rotate if you want to rotate something. You have the tremendous amount. So Apple gives you all of these little tools for animating slides and objects on slides that you may never have thought about using. Okay, let's go add another slide here. Let's add a blank one. And I'm going to just insert a photo here. If I can find a nice photo here that I've got here, this is something and I'm going to make this photo bigger. It doesn't fill up the whole screen. So I'm going to use these cursors to expand it to make it a little bit bigger and spread it out through the whole screen. And then I'm going to add another slide here, a blank one. And I'm going to find some media here from some places that I might have gone to that I looked at. Let's see, here's one that I can choose. Here's a good one. And let's see if I can add that. There we go. So I'm going to add this, and I accidentally added it twice. I'm going to delete one of them, and we're going to expand this. So what I've done here is I've created two photos. So you can use this like a photo presentation. One of the things you can do is if you go to animate here and you go to effect, you can change your effect that you might want to have happen so that you have the ability to change object effects, but you also have the ability to change how this moves and how it changes when you want to have a transition. So if I add a transition called reveal, you can see how it's going to go from one slide to another, and it's going to reveal it from one slide to another as I advance it. And so you have the ability to change some of those things and move it from one slide to another and add effects. So effects are really kind of interesting. You can see how you can make a slideshow a little more interesting by just modifying effects like that. Just use it for photos and showing people photos. Let's add one more slide, and we'll add a blank slide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to media here, and I'm going to go to insert add sketch from my iPad Air. Now, what I have happening here, I'm going to change my video camera for a minute and see if I can get this working the right way. So now you're seeing an over-the-shoulder view of me when I'm working with this. So what I'm going to do is go back to Media. I'm going to go to my iPad Air, which shows up on my options here, and I'm going to go to Add Sketch. And what's happened is the screen on my iPad has now changed to a blank screen. So I can draw an object. I can do this. I can say, write text on it. I can use all of the tools that are available from me on my iPad that I'm drawing with. And I can, write and do all kinds of things with it. And then I tap the Done button on my iPad, and it inserts it into the slide for me. So it's one of these things that if you thought about, well, I can't draw on my Mac, which is a drawback, right? If you're wanting to illustrate something or draw something on your Mac, you have the ability to use your iPad and use it to draw something with your iPad pencil and add something to it if you're ever interested in doing that. Now, what I want to do is I want to name this file. I didn't name it at the beginning, so I want to name it. So by clicking here in the title, I can change this to Tech Topic Keynote here, and you can see it's going to save it in Keynote in the iCloud. I can change that if I want to, so I don't have to use that, but that's the standard place that it's saved. And when I hit the Enter key, now it has a name on it, so I'll be able to find it whenever I want to. I have the ability to do that. Now, again, this image here is an object, so I have the ability to move that around if I want to. And I can add shapes or text or other things to it as well. You can add text to anything by just clicking on the text button. That gives you a text box. So I can say, this is demonstration of using an iPad to add a sketch. And now we can move this around and position it. And if I select the text, I have the ability to modify and format it on the right. See on the right, there's that format pane. If I go to text, I can change the text from a style if I want to, and I can select some pre-formatted styles for me. That's pretty big. I can use it to select and change the fonts if I want to. I can use it to change the text color if I want to as well. Keynote gives you a tremendous amount of ability to modify and design, and it's focused a little more on style. Now, I can insert a chart. So if I go to one more slide here, and I go to blank, if I want to insert a chart, I have a whole range of chart options that are available for me that I can utilize, 2D, 3D, and this little arrow, disclosure arrow, brings up different formats and color schemes. So if I want to insert a bar chart, it inserts a blank chart in my screen, and I can edit the chart data just by clicking on this. And if I want to change the names of the rows and columns, I can change this to January, and I can change this, let's say make it all caps, and we'll try that. And we'll go over here to February and change that to February. And we'll change this to March, and we'll change that to April. Okay. And now if I hit my return key, you can see they're changed right away in the table itself. So you can edit the chart data. You don't have to go into a spreadsheet. It brings up the table for you right away. And you can reformat charts if you want to. Over here on the right, you can change and modify different aspects of it, different styles, different colors. And you have the ability to adjust even things like corners if you want to. You can make the bars a little bit different. So there's a lot of style capabilities that Keynote has built into it that are great. I've got this in Keynote. What if I want to get it to somebody that uses PowerPoint? Well, it's saved in the cloud, so I can just click save just to make sure it's saved again. But if I want to, I can go to the file menu and I can go to export, and I have the ability to export it as a PowerPoint, and it'll save it in the key wherever I want to save it in the key iCloud drive. I can save it on my desktop. I can put it anywhere. I'm just going to put it in the Keynote file here and save it, and it'll export and it'll convert it to a PowerPoint presentation. And it might let you know that some things were converted, like high efficiency images is Apple's format. It'll convert it to a JPEG is all, but now it's available as a PowerPoint presentation. So if I go to my Finder and I go to iCloud Drive and I go to Keynote, there is my tech topic keynote.pptx that's available for me to use. And I can open up in PowerPoint and use it that way as well. One other thing I want to show you is that there is the ability to insert YouTube videos and other things. They call it web video. Here's a video that I want to share. I'm going to just get the URL for this and close this. Okay, so I've got it copied. I'm going to close this window, and I'm just going to paste the URL in. This is from my channel, and it'll insert it as a video into a presentation. Now, I did try playing this without an internet connection. It won't play without an internet connection. It does not actually download the video and embed it in your presentation, but it does give the ability to just play it right from here without you having to switch from going from Keynote to a browser to play a YouTube video from the web. You can actually put the video in your presentation so you don't have to worry about putting it somewhere else if you want to. So that's one of the nice things about it. There is one more thing that we're going to look at, and it's in media. There is Apple's Image Playground, which is part of their AI. And so if I want to put something like a desert image here, I can click on desert, I can describe an image, and it'll give me the ability to choose a few different styles, and I can insert this. It'll keep on drawing different ones if I want to, and I can click done, and it'll insert that image into the presentation. And some of their images are getting better. They do have some more options now in Image Playground. You can change the style. They have something called a sketch style, which is interesting, which we can choose and look at. So if I want to look at a sketch style and see different types of things like a fantasy, it'll create a different style of drawing for me, and I can choose something like that and insert it into the presentation as well. And again, these are images. They're in your presentation. You have the ability to use them. If I just go to close this now and go to Keynote and quit Keynote, it'll be available for me. It asks me, do I want to save the changes? Yes. So I just wanted to share a few of those things with you.